Guitar tips, just the tips, just for you. Guitar tips. Hello and welcome to Guitar Tips and Guitar Tips Pro. My name is Adam Levy. This is my weekly video blog series. I post a brand new tip here each and every week. That's what makes it weekly. I talk about guitar stuff. I try to shine some light into the darkness of guitar. Right in there. Yeah, and this week will be no different. Before I get into the actual tippage though, just a couple of things. One, I wanted to mention this guitar. Lots of you have been asking me about it, what the heck it is, so I'll tell you. It is a Waterloo WLS Deluxe. Waterloo is a relatively new brand of guitars, but they're being made by a not so new brand, the Collings Guitar Company in Austin, Texas. Not a paid endorsement, I'm just telling you what this guitar is because people are asking, and also because I really dig it. I got it earlier this year and I've used it on a bunch of recordings, and I took it on tour, and it just sounds good doing whatever I need to do with guitars. The strings, of course, as always, are my I don't make strings here at Guitar Tips headquarters, but the strings that I use are Martin guitar strings, the retro series. Kind of unusual. They don't look like your typical acoustic guitar string. They're not brassy or bronzy. They're the wrap is nickel, so they look different and they sound different and they feel different, and a good kind of different. I really like them. They record well, they stay in tune, they last a while. They do what strings are supposed to do without all the extra hype. Sometimes strings do more than what I need them to do. I really just want good, pure, solid, rich sound, and that's what the retro strings do. So that's why I use them. This week's tip is Chords Revisited. Why revisited? Well, because I talked about Chords in an earlier guitar tip on my original YouTube channel. It's guitar tip number 69. What Chords are all about. I wanted to revisit the subject though for a couple of reasons. One is I used some Chords in a recent song that I wrote, so it's been on my mind a little bit. And also I find a lot of students still are pretty clueless when it comes to Chords. And also I've just been thinking about them from a little bit more of a pianistic point of view. Piano players really have it easy. To play a chord on the piano, you play one chord in the right hand and just play a bass note that's not in this chord in the left hand, and lo and behold, you're playing a chord. Actually, it could be one of the notes in the right hand, but for example, if you're playing C in the right hand, in your right hand, and you play C in the bass, no chord. But if you play one of the other notes here, I'm going to put my guitar pick down so I don't have to keep holding it here. If you play E in the bass, for example, that would be indicated as C over E. If you play G in the bass on my imaginary keyboard, you would label that C over G. So that's kind of the way it works. If you see this kind of indication, C over E, for example, that's a triad over bass note. And piano players have a distinct advantage where they can hold a triad down and pretty much play any bass note on the bottom. On the guitar, that's hard because your bass and your chord all happen in one hand. So unless you are using some kind of wizardry, it's pretty difficult. But there are ways. Later in this tip, I'll show you some ways that we can be more pianistic. But anyway, so in Chords Revisited, we're going to look specifically at how piano players do stuff with Chords. So I wanted to mention this is kind of the basic idea of what they look like. Also, it's not only triads that can be slash chords. This is something you might see. B flat major 7 over C. So what you would do to make that chord is you'd find a B flat major 7, like there's one. And the reason I picked this voicing and not, say, this voicing, which is a pretty common B flat major 7 voicing, is because, remember, we're going to have to put a bass note under it. If you play B flat major 7 here, there's not really a way on the guitar to play a C below this B flat. You could play the C over here, but actually in actual pitch, this C is above this B flat. So you need to find a B flat major 7 voicing that is higher in pitch, not just higher on the guitar, but higher in actual sound than say this C or this C. So this might be one, and then you've got your C here, which we could do. I'm flattening out my pinky here to get the C and the B flat, so that's a way you could do it. There's also this voicing, also with the A on top, so this or this, and you could put C on the bottom here. There's a B flat major 7 up here, and you could put C beneath that, and so on. So just wanted to mention that point that it's not only triads that can be put over other bass notes. Okay, so the first we're going to look at 3 musical examples in this tip, specific examples by pianists, and the first one is one that we looked at in guitar tip number 69, but I'm going to show you kind of a specific guitar way of getting at the piano-y stuff. So this is Maybe I'm Amazed by Paul McCartney, and there's a couple of slash chords in this, specifically in the verses. The basic chords are B flat and then F over A. So I'm just playing F with A in the bass, and then C, and then G over C. So that's a G triad. Everybody knows that, right? You've got a second inversion G triad right there in the open strings, and then a C bass note here. So those would be ways that you could get these chords. I'm going to actually use closer to what McCartney plays on the piano. So that's B flat, F over A, and then this will be our C chord, and then this will be our G over C. So that's a G triad over C, right? And we're going to do this pianistic thing where the bass notes will be on the off beats and the triads will be on the strong beat. So it sounds like this. So the slash chords in here are F over A, which is you could say is a first inversion F chord. That's in measure 2, and also in measure 6. And then you've got this G over C in measure 4. And what it's doing there, here, C is not part of a G chord, right? But it's just a way to keep it's like a pedal tone. A pedal tone is when you've got a tone or note that is in common as the chords change. This really just allows us to keep this note in common, which is especially good because the next chord is B flat. So if we didn't do that, if we played this chord without the slash, if we played this song rather without the slash chords, it would sound like this. So it's just really going through a cycle of fifths. But the way McCartney played it on the piano, the bass line goes. Which, if you sing the song's melody over that, is really nice. It's really nice. So it just creates a little more interest in the chords, a little more drama, a little more suspense. Not suspension per se in a musical terminology way, but just suspense. And then. And I did something like that in a song that I wrote this week. The song is in C minor, and the bridge goes, this is kind of like an F Lydian chord, F, D, A, B, E, and then C over G, G. So I could have just written F, C, G. But I liked that kind of drama and suspense by going C over G to G instead of just F, C, G. In this case, I don't even really think of this as a kind of a C chord. I think of it as a kind of a G chord that's suspended, right? A suspended chord means you substitute 4 for 3, right? So this is G sus or G sus 4. I think of this chord as like double suspended. I don't know if that's an official music theory term, but I think of like I'm substituting 4 for 3 and 6 for 5. Right in a G chord, D is the 5, I'm playing E the 6. B is the 3, I'm playing C the 4. So shorthand wise, it's easier to write this as C over G. But in my mind, functionally, I'm thinking of this as a kind of G sus, and that allows me to kind of have the bass line just go back and forth between the F and G. I don't want all this motion, I just want this. And that creates, again, a kind of drama or tension, because the song is in C minor, and if we just linger on 4 or 5 for a while, your ear is kind of waiting for some kind of resolve that doesn't happen. We're just hanging out here. So that's a compositional example of it's an example from one of my songs. I was using this compositional technique of keeping the 4 and the 5 alternating without going back to the 1, and also having stuff moving over the top. Does that make sense? If you're watching on my regular YouTube channel, this will be the end of this week's guitar tip. And if you want to get into more examples and have an opportunity to get PDFs of the music I'm playing and high quality audio recordings of the music that I'm playing, and stuff that won't have airplanes flying overhead on it, and more additional cool bonus stuff that you can't get on my good old YouTube channel, then I hope you'll check out my Guitar Tips Pro channel on Patreon. There's a link down below. You can sign up for as little as $5 a month, and not to put too fine a point on it, but here's a pretty fine point. Guitar Tips on YouTube is a free thing, and that's cool. That's the big idea. I've always wanted that to be a free thing. But on the other side of the coin, if you wanted to take guitar lessons with me privately, you'd be paying $100 an hour. So to pay $5 a month, or $10 a month, or even $25 a month, is just a fraction of that, and you get 4 good long lessons with music, PDFs you can read off of, and MP3 examples, and other content. It seems like a pretty much a no-brainer that you would want to do that. You know, here's a spoonful of soup for free, or for $5 you can get a whole bowl of soup. For $10 you can get a 2-course meal, and for $25 you can get a 3-course meal. Still at a fraction of the price that you would normally pay for such a meal. So that's what Guitar Tips Pro is, and check it out.